Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's April 10th, 2025. Great to be with all of you today. My name is Bob Lang, and it's time for our daily bites. And I am extremely excited today. Why is that? Because I have brought a guest on with me, and thankfully, my good friend Julia Cordova from Cordova Trades has decided to spend a little bit of time with me and with you, talk a little bit about markets from her perspective. Again, it's just going to be a very short, very brief talk with all of you guys, with Julia, but it's a good opportunity for me to introduce her to my audience, to let them see what she's all about. And so you may be wondering, why Julia? What's the deal here? Well, today was actually the first time I got a chance to meet her. We chatted a couple of times on Twitter or X, whatever, back and forth, and I like Julia a lot. What she brings to the table. She's very smart. She's witty. She's got a great sense of humor, and not only that, but she reads charts fantastic in a fantastic way. So I really like that. I respect that about her. She's very honest, and she says when she's doing really well, and she also tells you when she's not doing well. And what is better than having somebody who's honest and upfront and tells it like it is and explains herself on the good side and the bad side. She's got a great website. She's got a great following. So I'm happy to have you here today, Julia, spending a little bit of time with me. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much, Bob. That was you said nice things. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Will you be sending me a check later today?
Yeah, right. You and the IRS.
Well, anyway, so Julia, let's get going here. So first of all, as we see the markets are getting drilled here right now. I mean, as it relates to versus what happened yesterday, it's a pittance from what that big rally from yesterday. That was a historic, obviously. SPX futures are down about 115 handles. Let's call it about a little less than 2%. Nasdaq's getting pasted. It's back under 19,000. Dow Industrial's down 600. We see the VIX is up strong, not getting back a lot of the losses from yesterday. Obviously, it's huge losses. That was the biggest drop percentage-wise in VIX in history. I think it was down about 35% in one day. It's getting back about 10% of it today here right now. I know near and dear to Julia's heart, gold. She's been playing gold extremely well for the past several months, and even longer than that. I've been watching her, not just gold, silver. Silver's been one of her big winners over a long period of time too. So I've been watching what she does with that. And again, I've traded these things, but I know there are smarter people like Julia out there who trade them better than me. So it makes sense for me and for all of you to pay attention to the smart people, the ones who know what they're doing, for guidance in trading some of these things. Like some people are real good with crude. I think Julia has done some work with crude oil as well too, and made some trades there, metals and so forth. Whatever it is, if you find somebody who's got a niche there, who's got an edge, those are the people you want to be paying attention to. So again, gold is up right now. Crude is getting smacked around again. It's down below 62. It was in the mid 50s yesterday, Julia. I'm not sure if you were replaying the short side on crude for a little bit.
You know what? So for me, when it got underneath 65.65 last week, it was a short. I didn't take it though because I was busy with other things. But the fact that it even touched 65.65 last week was pretty bearish. And then it did back test 63.69, which was sort of the bottom of that last support this week. But no, I haven't touched it. I don't have a whole lot of support underneath 62.28 until all the way to like 53.
And 50. Wow, big move.
So I definitely could have scalped it, but for me, unless it recovers 62.28, and maybe that number would be a little lower next week, but unless it recovers there, I'm not interested in it for, longer term until 53.3.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there. So Julia, what's your impressions about what happened yesterday after 1:18 p.m. Eastern time?
Okay, so it's interesting. So I have a bunch of weekly supports between 4909 and 4808, and then I have some supports up from that. And I'm just going to go to my hourly chart. So yesterday I said that if it recovered 5046.75 on an hourly basis, that I would go long. And I'm so grateful that it did on the noon hour. And so okay, so just for me, it had triggered like, okay, I'm going to get long. We'll see what happens. It still looked like trash because it was still inside of a potential bear flag. But I thought, you know what? If there's a recovery there, it could possibly break out. And then first it went to like 50.099, and I was like, all right, I got to get rid of some of this. And it came back down, and I thought, okay, now it looks questionable again. And then it went to the freaking moon. I've never seen anything like it. It was incredible, and I'm just very grateful that I was long when it happened.
So
I'm not sure, but yeah, for me, it had triggered what it needed to trigger on a hourly basis, and I'm very blessed that it went up that much. Oh my gosh.
So Julia, just for all the listeners out here, I know you're a professional at what you do. You're very good. You're very good, and a savvy trader. But what is the one thing that you were doing as you were watching the futures moving up, and you had that in place? You obviously had a trailing stop, right? Just in case it pulled back,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well, I had to switch to my weekly time frame because it was going through hourly and daily very fast.
Yeah.
So I had to switch to weekly to see where, my next big level was. And so after I actually got rid of most of it at 52.97 because that was daily. But then then it came back and back tested it even. But then it got really all the way. I mean, so what was the one thing I was doing is zooming out. I was trying to figure out, okay, where is this thing going to stop? What's going to happen? And I had 54.49.75 as a potential short. So when it got there, I took the short.
Yeah. And
So I was like, am I crazy? I don't know, but I felt like it would pull back a bit. And it did. It pulled back from 54.49. It pulled back maybe a couple hundred points. And I just didn't want to be greedy. I took profit, and then it came back above and closed higher. And then overnight went all the way to my next level. I have this week I have 449.75. The 449.75 is where a lot of shorts would kick in. Then I have sort of a middle level 5524, where it's basically the center of an old consolidation, and it's a place that algos. I find that if you're looking at a chart and you find centers of consolidation, generally speaking, algos want to backtest those centers. It's just a math thing because it's gone up and down so much. And if you can find the right center of consolidation, and that's basically where we've topped out right now, is the center of an old consolidation, 5524.25. And then if it gets above that, if it gets above 55.97 this week, different next week, but if it got above 55.97, I would have to turn bullish short term. So
probably moved to an all-time high, right?
I think so. If it got above this week, it's 5597. Next week, it's going to be a bit higher. If it starts getting above there, I think it's likely going to an all-time high. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, this is just simply a remarkable move. But the only thing that I would caution about with this move, from a swing trading perspective, is that even with that humongous move, Julia, yesterday, we didn't even get to the 20-day moving average. I'll show that um, on the chart over here.
Yeah.
Um, we stopped short of the 20-day moving average, and bear market rallies can be some of the biggest, most powerful rallies ever. I was around during the financial crisis. I was even around back, dating myself back to the .com times when I first started really trading options. And yeah, so you could see, and I didn't really understand these principles back then, but still, you know what? With this huge white candle over here, clearly shows that, yes, it was a powerful rally, and we recovered some of the losses from last week, but not even all of them. We didn't even get to the 20-day moving average, which is this dotted line over here. So, it tells me that either we fail here, as we did back over here, we created that evening star pattern, or we continue on and move up above there and make that run towards this 200-day moving average. There's plenty of room up there, right, Julie? About 300, 250, 300 points up there, where you can get some nice profits before maybe things fail again. But I think, what would you say? Being nimble and being quick is probably the best action right now.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a bigger picture view, and then on a day-to-day basis, just not being, too one-sided or the other. Frankly, because of the volatility, I've recommended that, people stay small with wider stops than normal.
Yeah.
Um, because really we're in an environment that changes on a dime, and you don't want to get caught on the wrong side. Yeah, so I mean, I think even in, of course, in bear markets, it's okay to be bullish for a day or two, or three. And same thing in bull markets. It's okay to know, but you have to know what you're in. And you're right, we haven't recovered the 20 MA. We did pierce the 9, but we're now back below that. So, um, I mean, I think it would look probably bad to have this be a 1-day wonder. but, but some consolidation after that move would be quite normal, I think, and probably necessary if it's going to be sustainable anyway.
So Julia, do you follow the bond market much, and follow yields, and where they're going?
So I look at it. I look at ZB and TLT every day, as sort of a risk uh, factor. And I mean, that was crazy what happened. And I mean, I had ZB on a weekly time frame. I had it in a bull flag. It
Mhm.
broke out last week, and then it fakey breaky. I call it fakey breaky.
Take
Um, it came back whenever something breaks out of a bull flag, and then it comes back. And if it starts getting inside of the bull flag, then it's usually quite bearish, and generally has a lot of bearish follow through. And that's exactly what happened. Once it got back inside of 117.23, which was the top of my bull flag, it just plummeted. But right now, this is important. So it went down a lot, obviously, but right now I have the bottom of that same bull flag as 114.17, and it's just above right now. So it's sort of trying to recover that bull flag channel. And I think whether or not the move holds for next week, to me, as it has to close back above 114.17. Um, it could close a little lower, maybe 114.05, but it needs to hold 114.17 for me to think that maybe next week we could sort of see some more machination to the upside.
Yeah. So if we break 114, maybe go to 113 or something like that. That bull flag is done, right? It's especially.
I think so. Yeah. And then we're looking at 110 for, approximately.
Yeah, that the yields probably jump right up to 450 on the 10-year, right, or something like that. I mean, that certainly would be a adverse move in yields to the upside. What did you think about the, obviously, we've been talking here for about 14 minutes and we didn't talk about politics at all, which is actually a blessing to me, because all you've really talked about is the price action, and we talked about the markets and the bonds, which is beautiful. Which is beautiful because obviously it's very difficult to make choices and decisions in markets with influences from outside, like politics. I mean, obviously these things are influencing markets, and whatever manipulation is going on, we kind of have to rise above that and just pay attention to what's happening with price, and let that explain everything, our actions. But
Exactly. That's how I feel. I feel like we just, the situation is what it is, and so we have to just understand the terrain that we're in, understand that this is something that is, I mean, unlike COVID, because COVID was something where we, in the midst of COVID, we didn't really know we didn't know if this thing was going to get worse, if it was going to get better. We had no idea when people, the lockdown, when everything would get better again. In this situation, it's constructed. It's something that is very controllable. News can come at any time, and it's something that can just, like we saw, just within a minute or two, everything can be completely changed, and that is definitely within the control of powerful people. So it's not something that we can't control. They can control it. So we have to understand more than ever where the breaking points are, because that's when it would start to be controlled, right? So we just have to understand our levels very well, because that is probably where news would come in some kind, whether it's too much to the upside and somebody wants to, keep it down, or whether it's too much to the underside and somebody wants to keep it up. We just have to know what those levels are so that we can sort of look for news in the right places.
That's right. That's right. And as I wrote about over the weekend, and this is quote from a guy who won the World Series of Poker back in 2001 or 2002. His name is Robert Varconi, and I kind of allude that, make the comparison between hold'em poker to trading, and the fact that what Robert Varconi said, it's hours and hours of boredom and moments of sheer terror.
It's like
Right?
being a policeman too. Yes.
Yeah, it's like, you're driving around and all of a sudden you see something happening, and you have to react and respond to it immediately, right? And like yesterday was one of those days where moments like that will happen maybe 3-4 times a year, and we have 220 trading days in a calendar year. So the odds of you catching those things are not very good unless you're in there all the time. But catching those moments last week and then this week, you have to be paying attention, like you said, to your levels and where you find the resistance and the support zones at, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, listen, I know we gotta get rolling because the market's going, but I want to show everybody something first. So this is Julia's website, and obviously it's very, very plain right here. But if you subscribe to Julia's website, CordovaTrades.com, you get all this really great stuff from her, and it's pretty. It's pretty reasonable join up. And she's also also on Twitter, very active on Twitter at Cordova Trades as well too. Anything you want to add, Julia?
No, just that. So I write a weekly newsletter, and at the beginning of the newsletter, I sort of do a summary of market action for the last week. And also, I put together a table where you can see the relative movement of the indices versus precious metals versus energy. And I think that's sort of in the front part. And I think that's pretty valuable just to get an overview each week of what's going on from a relative basis. So that's sort of in the front part. And then in the back part of the newsletter, I do a detailed analysis of what levels I'm watching, what my bias is for the week, and then I stream on Discord live during real time, regular time. I don't know, RTH, regular time hours. I stream and give commentary of what's going on. Like yesterday, it was just it was incredible, and everybody was grateful to be long. So yeah, that's what
So everybody, you know what? I mean, Julia delivers a lot of good stuff for you, good information. I read her again. I read her every day, and it makes my life a lot easier. It probably would give you guys all a chance. And if you know me very well, I don't talk about a lot of other people in a way to try and promote them. If unless they're really good at what they do, and they're really kind, they're generous, and Julia checks off all those boxes. So I was happy to share that with all of you, and hopefully get a chance to read her a little bit more and see what she's all about. So that's it. Hey, listen, Julia, we got a big trading day, right?
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited.
A little terrified, but also excited.
Well, anyway, listen, I want to thank you very much for spending a long time with me, and we'll throw this out there, and hopefully we can do this again, maybe in a longer time, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes or something like that down the road. What do you say?
Great. Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and everybody.
Great, Julia. Thanks very much. Everybody have a great day. I will not be here next week. I'm not sure, Julia, if I mentioned this to you. I'm on my way to Europe tomorrow. I'll be there for about a week. So.
Oh, where? Where in Europe?
We're going to Amsterdam, Bruges, and Paris. My daughter's living in Paris now. She's just moved there in January, so I'm going to visit with her for a few days, and we come back on Easter Sunday. So.
That is fabulous. Oh, have a great time.
Thank you so much. And everybody, I'll see you guys all when I get back. We'll be back with the next Yearly Bites on April 21st. Stay safe. And as I always say, keep a lot of cash, keep some puts on, protect yourself, and I'll see you guys all on the other side after Easter. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you then. Thanks again, Julia.
Thank you.